As a part of second chapter, in the beginning, we will have overview of embedded system development tools. Like in short, we will just discuss about what are the different tools in the form of assembler, compiler, debugger, or emulators, simulators, and what is meaning of each one or what is the significance of each one of them, and then we will proceed further. So in this first part, we will have just a look at which are the major components in the form of software or hardware tools as far as embedded system design and development is considered are playing important role. The programming tool or software development tool is a computer program that software developers use to create, debug, maintain, or maybe to support other programs and applications. So, in order to meet several requirements, embedded system need to be developed globally in collaboration with different, say, manufacturers and organizations. They cannot operate without any embedded software. So wide range of software tools to develop the softwares are available, as well as they incorporate various other supportive tools like editor, translator, debugger, memory analyzer, logic analyzer, profilers, then version controllers, code conversion tools, etc. So to facilitate great productivity, we have to efficiently and effectively use these different tools, performing different operations and providing different functions in the form of integrated development environment for embedded system design. Most of these tools are packaged under one suite, and that is IDE. It allows the use of different individual tools to uh, like based on the different development platforms, so as to develop, simulate, and ultimately burn the work or the project or the code developed by the developer. Now, in general, the integrated development environment is a software that assists programmers in developing software. IDEs normally consist of a source code editor, compiler, linker or locator, and usually a debugger. Sometimes an IDE is devoted to one specific programming language or maybe family of specific processor or hardware. But more often, the IDEs support multiple languages, processors, and some commonly used IDEs for embedded system are JNU Compiler Collection (GCC) or Ellipse or Delphi. So, a number of others are also there. These IDEs are most important, and we have to be very careful while choosing the particular IDE. This particular selection is very critical. That is, we have to know the capabilities of that ID. Further, whether it is available for all kind of whether it is able to fulfill all kind of requirements. Like maybe you are using it for medical electronics or defense applications or robotics or the any other even signal processing field. So each field is having its own requirement, so you have to check whether that ID is sufficient and efficient to fulfill what exactly the developer demands. So commercially, different IDs are available. Suitable ID you have to look for, and then you have to either purchase it, or maybe if it is a freeware, in the form of freeware, you can install and do your work. So in general, if you look at the cycle like integrated development environment, then first thing is you have to write a code or prepare a code with the help of the editor available. Then there will be translation into machine opcodes. So hex code will be produced, and then there is debugging. So in short, there are three steps. Like in normal software development environment, application software is developed in the same system known as the host system. In this development environment, the host system or workstation has standard peripheral devices. The tool chain used for application software development in general includes editor, preprocessor, compiler, assembler, linker, loader, etc. So these are the major components. Once your code is ready, then you can burn it using some other say in-system programmer, and even the functionality prototype verification can be done using the particular device, and if it is bug free, all the steps are okay, then definitely it is just proceeded further for the further application related uh, development. That is, developing the software and hardware microcontroller based system is altogether is going to involve all this. Like for the anyone, there may be some starter kits available in the market, and to complicate or complicated or some other uh, complex tasks, you may have some advanced tools also. So this is a general view as far as microcontroller based development cycle is considered. You can start with source code, that is a simple editor you can use. Then you compile it, assemble it, convert it into hex code, debug. Then you proceed for the, if it is code is bug free, you can see in the flowchart. Then you proceed for dumping it or burning it with the help of in-system programmer like Flash is the one of the most popular platform available, and then functional prototype verification with real microcontroller chip on the board with the necessary connections. You can execute it and you can check or verify whatever functionality is expected. The emulator base may be there. The emulation hardware is made available and as in the form of a target system, and then you can dump it and you can verify. Now, one by one, we will go through what is the meaning of all this. So, whichever terms we mentioned, like the first one is editor. So, it is a software application used for editing sort of plain text. They are often provided with operating system or software development packages and can be used to change configuration files and programming language source code. Editor generates source code which can be further compiled and then executed for proper functioning. So, in short, I have mentioned here a source code editor is a text editor program designed specifically for editing source code to control embedded systems. It may be a standalone application or it may be built into an integrated development environment. Source code editors may have features specially designed to simplify and speed up input of source code, such as syntax highlighting and autocomplete functionality, etc. These features ease the development of the. Then next one is a compiler. Before compiler, I will just comment about the pre-processing step. So preprocessor directives are lines included in the code programs that are not program statements but directives for the preprocessor. The preprocessor is executed before the actual compilation of code begins. Therefore, the preprocessor understands all these directives and translate them into extended source code. So every programming language, assembly language is having its own strategy as far as these directives is considered, and they are supporting the overall programming whatever is requirement accordingly. So pre-processing is also one of the important say phase through which it goes. Then there is compiler, but before compiler there is again a small say we can call as a step, which is assembler, which is doing or providing this conversion. Assembler is used when source code is in assembly language. A program written in assembly language consists of instructions that is in the form of mnemonics and correspond to stream of execution, whatever is execution carried out accordingly the set of executable instructions. So assembler creates object code translating mnemonics into machine language. So this is the most important thing what the assembler is doing. As far as compiler is considered, it is a computer program that translates the source code into computer language, that is object code. Commonly, the output has a form suitable for processing by other programs, that is nothing but the linker, but it may be human readable text file. The compiler translates source code from a high level language to a lower level language, that is assembly language to machine language. The most common reason for wanting to translate source code is to create a program that can be executed on a computer or on embedded system. The compiler is called a cross compiler if the source code is compiled to run on a platform other than the one on which the cross compiler is run. For embedded systems, the compiler always runs on the other platform so as cross compiler is needed. It cross compiler takes an expanded source program written in high level language as an input and translates it into equivalent assembly language program of a target processor. As far as cross assembler is considered, it converts source program written in the assembly language into the machine language of the target processor. Now there is a linker. Linker is actually responsible, that is a kind of a program that takes one or more objects generated by compilers and assembles them into single executable program or a library that can later be linked to in itself. All of the object files resulting from compiling must be combined in a special way before the program locator will produce an output file that contains a binary image that can be loaded into the target ROM. A commonly used linker or a locator for embedded system ISLD is GNU. So locator, as far as considered, it does the linking and loading of the object program. It is responsible for generating the executable program as needed by the target programmers. Locators take inputs and describe the target environments such as memory layout of RAM, ROM, flash, etc., system data structure, global descriptor table, interrupt structure, etc. And It is going to generate absolute addresses. The generated image from locator is then directly downloadable to the target hardware. The locator also produces a map file that describes name, size, and absolute and relative location of the program segments and global symbols. Then there is debugger. So debugging tools are made available. Debugger is a computer program that is used to test and debug other programs. A debugger is piece of software running on the PC which has to be tightly integrated with the emulator that you use to validate your code. A debugger allows you to download your code to the emulator's memory and then control all of the functions of the emulator from PC. Debugging tools used for targeting, validating, and performance monitoring. Debugging tools can be categorized into software debugs kernels and source code debuggers, low-level ROM monitor kernels that have direct hardware links into the target system, and hardware debuggers such as logic analyzers and in-circuit emulators. Software debuggers are used to trace and monitor program execution. As far as hardware debugging tools are considered, the tools for debugging hardware, some of the popular tools like logic probes, oscilloscope, logic analyzer, bitrate meter, etc. Now, logic probe is the simplest hardware test device. So this is used. Oscilloscope as our conventional scope is made available. Logic analyzer. This is also one of the most popular, supportive system or a tool so as to observe the waveforms and analyze them. So all this is as a part of debugging mechanism. They are used by the programmer for different applications. Then there are simulators. Among all other tools used for development of software for embedded system, there is another tool called simulator. So simulator is also very important. It enables you to know how the code that you have developed or created actually works in reality. So this is the thing which you want to know always, and how it looks, how exactly when input is given, what happens, in which manner, in which order. So all these things it is expecting. Then you might be able to see the interaction of sensors by changing the input entries. So that is also a big advantage you will get, and you can see how it is working. Then you may analyze what type of function different components performing and what is the effect created by changing the input values. So that is also very kind of a useful thing as far as simulator is considered. In market, different simulators are available. Proteus is one of the most popular simulator which we use, general purpose academic level project development and applications. So you have selection mode, component mode, junction dot mode, then wire level mode, text script mode, buses mode, sub-circuit mode, terminals mode, device pins mode, graph mode, active pop-up mode, generator mode. So a number of these modes are there. You can choose appropriately various components and draw the circuit, whatever exactly is your, and then simulate it. It is a kind of a very nice way of understanding what is happening. And you can connect the probe, you can get 2D graphics, you can observe the effect, everything is possible. So Proteus ISIS mode is one best option. If you are using PEEK microcontroller, you can use Micro C for PEEK and MPLAB for your development. If you are using ARM microcontroller, you can use Keel MDK.F. You are Keel. If you are using embedded Linux projects, you have to choose your IDE accordingly. Other examples of integrated development environment includes Xcode, Eclipse, Android Studio, code blocks. Most of the industry applications they are using code blocks. Adobe Flash Builder, then BlueEG. So many more are there in the real-time applications as far as consider you can use appropriately. Then as far as emulators are considered, it is a piece of hardware that ideally behaves exactly like the real microcontroller chip with all its integrated functionality. It is the most powerful debugging tool of all. Microcontrollers functions are emulated in real time, and normally all emulators contain three essential functions like the emulator control logic, including emulation memory and the actual emulation device. A pin adapter that gives the emulator's target connector the same package and pinout as the microcontroller to be emulated. Now, PEEK microcontroller essentially need this particular tool. Like MPLAB is one of the most popular option which we have. MPLAB is developed. It has been developed from microchip technology. It is also an example of integrated uh, development environment software that creates program needed PEEK microcontroller that you are using. Then it enables debugging, editing, and programming of PEEK microcontroller. MPLAB is the advanced edition as far as consider of MPLAB X is the advanced edition of MPLAB. You may easily download MPLAB from website of Microchip free of cost. So it is directly readily available, and you can use it as and when required. So simplest way of executing and simulating the whatever you have using any simulation tool like a Proteus, and with PEEK controllers also you can use it. So this is about MPLAB. In the coming session, we will have once again the discussion about MPLAB as an small introduction while using it actually. So mainly it is a suite of software and hardware, and a free one is a 32-bit application on MS Windows. You can use it for compiler for 8-bit PIC or AVR devices. You can use MPLAB XC8. Then for 16-bit PIC devices, you can use MPLAB XC16, and for 32-bit, you can use MPLAB X32. Hightech C as a C compiler for 8-bit PIC devices, and SDCC as open source C compiler. So that also you can have. Mainly, it includes project manager, then editor, and assembler, same fashion, linker, locator, debugger, and execution engine. As a part of our curriculum, we will be using C18 compiler. This is SW006011 C18 compiler for PEEK18 series, full featured ANSI compatible C compiler for PEEK18 family, and it is generally stated as ANSI 89 family. Then generation of relocatable object modules for enhanced code reuse, compatibility with object modules generated by MPASM assembler, then transparent read-write access to external memory. You can have efficient code generator engine with multi-level optimization, then extensively used and it supports PWM feature, SPI, UART, USART, string manipulation, and even math libraries. Full user level control over data and code memory allocation. MPLab allows easy use of included libraries and for user created libraries. Extensive multi-pass pass optimization, and it supports both small and large memory model for efficient use of memory. So especially this particular platform is supporting compiler, assembler, and for the peak controllers it is very useful. And as far as our 8051 is considered, so Keel is the world's #1 developer of embedded software. Keel MDK is it consists software for ARM microcontrollers especially. Keel MDK development tools include IDE, compiler, and debugger. It contains all the features like creating a project, building it, and debugging the project. It also contains very useful and important embedded applications. There are three different Keel development softwares for ARM, which is as follows. So ARM Keel microcontroller tools for embedded and microcontroller based projects, ARM DS development tool for SoC, bare metal kernel and applications, ARM models virtual prototyping for system simulation. It can control up to 3750 different devices of silicon vendors. It has a user-friendly interface and easy to use in any ARM project. As a part of our first section of our course for 8051 related programming, we will be using Keel as a platform, and for second section for PEEK, we will be using MPLab platform. So as a whole session, just I want to conclude, mainly the embedded development is carried out with the help of some software and hardware tools. So it includes editor, linker, loader, assembler, compiler, cross compiler, mainly simulators and emulators. So they are giving you the feel of exactly in real domain what is going to happen. So you have many simulator emulator platforms available in the market. One of the popular simulator like Proteus you can use for simple project based some simulations you want to do, and even general academic projects or programs or developments. You can use Proteus as a simulator in different modes. It is available. And as far as the platforms are considered, then Keel is especially used for ARM and general purpose microcontroller like 8051, and for peak controllers from microchip we have option as MPLab. Uh, Many more other platforms are also there like code blocks and all people are using, but as far as our scope is considered, we will be using for programming purpose for 8051 Keel and for peak controllers MPLab. Thank you.